Alright, guys, what's going on? John Rod here again to talk about Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 3. To me, this was the greatest episode of the show, with Battle of the Bastards right behind in second place. I think it did live up to the hype, except for the only disagreement I would have about this episode is I would have liked to see the Night King go one-on-one with Jon Snow in a sword fight. I think that's the only thing we missed at this episode. It didn't make the episode any less great, but that's one thing I really would have liked to see. I know a lot of people are complaining about not seeing it, and I could agree with them a little bit. But I mean, overall, the whole episode was great. That's one thing I would have liked to see. My only complaint about the episode, one of my complaints, is no sword fight between Jon Snow and the Night King. But some people are saying that the Night King might not be totally dead. He might still come back, so we'll see, but I think he's gone. Overall, this episode was great. The dragons fighting, dancing dragons, and just everything was good about it. A lot of people complaining about the episode being too dark or whatever, but I think that's just part of the episode. It was supposed to be like that. You know, at the beginning of the episode when the Dothraki are charging, you see all their lights and everything, and then all of a sudden you see that first Dothraki get taken out by the ice giant, and then all the Dothraki start getting taken out, and you don't see what happens to them. All their lights go out. I actually felt scared watching that. Like, and no TV show or movie has made me feel like that for years since I was a kid. And just that scene after all the Dothraki disappear and it's all dark and quiet and everybody's looking out, they don't know what's going on. To me, that was the best scene of the episode and probably my favorite scene of the whole series. It was eerie, it was dark, it was scary, you didn't know what was going on, you didn't know what was out there. And I think that part of it was really good. So I don't have a complaint with the darkness because the darkness has to be there to make the episode what it was. It was dark, but I mean, you could still see what was going on for the most part. And that's what made it so scary, you know, and made the episode pretty much. The dragons fighting, that was great too. I like in the Godswood where Theon's and his troops are. Theon looks up and you can see the dragons through the leaves, you know, through the trees fighting. I think that was a pretty epic shot. Theon pretty much sacrificing himself, cementing his legacy, charging at the Night King, knowing didn't stand a chance. And then some other people are complaining about Arya killing the Night King. But if you paid attention to the show, you would know that she's one of the, if not the deadliest assassin in Westeros, probably the world. Her whole life she's been training, not for the Night King, but she's been training for this type of situation. So people's complaints are the episode was too dark and Arya killed the Night King. The darkness made the episode, and Arya wasn't no couch potato. She was been training her whole life for this. Like in the previous episode when Jon Snow's in the Godswood and Arya sneaks up on him and he says, how did you sneak up on me? That was pretty much foreshadowing how she would sneak up on the Night King in the next episode. She was trained by the best her whole life, different people. She knows what she's doing. She's an assassin. Now, I would have liked to see Jon Snow kill the Night King in a one-on-one battle, or maybe Jon Snow and the Night King are fighting, sword fighting in the Godswood, and then the Night King's about to get Jon Snow, and then Arya jumps on him, how she did, and then stabs him. I think I would have liked that better because the whole show's been pretty much building up one-on-one confrontation from Jon Snow and the Night King, and we didn't get it. So that's my main disappointment of the episode. I really wanted to see that. But that doesn't diminish the episode in any way for me. I think it was a great episode, the way it was shot, the views, the dragons just look epic. Another one of my favorite scenes is when the dragons go above the clouds and they're like just sitting there floating for a while. And then once they go back into the clouds, that kind of reminded me of the original Batman movie where he's in his bat plane or whatever, and he goes above the clouds like the dragons did, and then he goes back down. And when the dragons went back into the clouds, it looked just like Batman's going into the clouds off that first movie. So that was one of my favorite scenes. Like I said, the Dothraki at the beginning, that was totally epic. Real scary. I actually felt it. And then a lot of people are complaining about there wasn't enough main character deaths. And that's not a complaint for me, but I could pretty much see what they're saying. Such a big war. Should have been more deaths. But other than that, I'm fine with the episode. I think it was really great. This is my favorite episode. I think the best episode the show has ever had, with Battle of the Bastards being number 2, close behind it. Because Battle of the Bastards was pretty epic too. But another thing that made this episode was the music. I gotta go buy the soundtrack. I think the music was amazing on here. It fit with the scenes that were going on, and the music, the soundtrack actually enhanced the story. It made it more epic. I've rewatched this episode many times, and I plan on rewatching it again. It never gets old. It is just truly amazing, and everything about it was good. A couple complaints, you could live with them, but if we would have had a one-on-one sword fight with Jon Snow and the Night King, maybe a little bit more light in certain places and certain scenes, could have been way more epic. Just with only the sword fight, it would have been epic. What do you guys think of the episode? Lady Mormont taking out the ice giant, that was pretty cool. At first she was scared, she panicked, she didn't know what to do. And then especially when the ice giant broke through the door, she just looked like she was lost. And then after she got smacked to the side, she came back and killed the giant. I wish she was in the crypt so she would have lived. But she was one of my favorite characters on the show. I think maybe Tyrion should have at least been able to watch the battle until they lit the trench, because he does have a good mind. And whoever put their battle plan together messed up. I think that was a terrible battle plan. Pretty much sacrificing the Dothraki in seconds. I would have maybe had the Dothraki come from the side and do like a sweep or something. I don't know, it's just hard to tell, but if they would have kept some of the better generals alive, the war commanders, it would have been cool to see. I would have liked to see how Tywin would have battle planned for the dead, or the Tullys. If Daenerys wanted to burn them, I would have liked to see how um, the Tarleys would have battle planned for him. Because whoever made this battle plan just didn't know what they were doing. And pretty much the Army of the Dead won. They pretty much were gonna kill everybody. If it wasn't for Arya, everybody would have been dead, and they would have been marching on King's Landing or wherever. So if Arya didn't kill the Night King, everyone would have been dead. And that's what they're trying to show you. So I really love this episode. I think it's the best ever on Game of Thrones. What do you guys think? How'd you like the episode? Was it too dark? Was there not enough sword fight? Did you want to see Jon Snow? How did you like the Dance of Dragons? Beric Dondarrion's death? Lady Mormont? What do you guys think? What are your thoughts, comments, opinions, questions on the episode? Don't forget to like, subscribe. John Rod out.